Hey everyone, welcome back to Trail Talks, the podcast where we talk about growth, the messy, the beautiful, and everything in between. I'm your host, Kelly Kruger, founder of Kelly Michelle Coaching, where we focus on mindset, emotional intelligence, and leadership, all grounded in real life and real science. And joining me is my co-host and partner in growth, founder of Leading People LLC, Tara Stinnett, a leadership trainer and facilitator who brings insight, curiosity, and real-world perspective to every episode. So wherever you're listening from today, we're glad you're here, and thank you for joining us on the trail. Hey everyone, welcome back to Trail Talks. I am honored to welcome Ericka Kelly to episode 13. Ericka is a retired Air Force senior enlisted leader who served as the 17th Command Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Reserve Command and as the senior enlisted advisor to the Chief of the Air Force Reserve, representing leadership at the highest executive level of the military. She brings more than 27 years of experience in government management and law enforcement, including work as a criminal investigator with the Departments of Justice and Homeland Security, and has received national recognition from the United States Congress for her leadership and credibility. And her service continues. She continues that leadership as the CEO and owner of Ericka Kelly Enterprises. She serves as a global speaker, executive coach, leadership trainer, and author. This episode is all about Ericka, her journey, her philosophy, and the lessons she's learned along the way. Please welcome our dear friend, Ericka Kelly.
Yay! Welcome. Yeah.
Let's get back on.
All
right, let's go to current state. So uniform off and you're serving in a different capacity as a coach. You have your own business. I have your website up. I love your website. It is beautiful. I want my website to look like your web. It is beautiful. You talked about John C. Maxwell. Tara and I have our own businesses and we're just chugging along little by little and putting ourselves out there. And if I've learned anything, it's keep moving forward, and consistency is everything. And you must create. Just because I have a website doesn't mean people are going to go out to find the website. That's not how it works anymore. What kind of advice would you give aspiring coaches that are in the business and also considering AI is out there now?
Yeah, it's fantastic, but it will never take humanity.
It won't.
So this is my advice, and I think that you hit it first before anything. If we're going to be entrepreneurs, is we do need to have that desire to do it. If we don't have that foundational desire, we will find an excuse. Life is going to hit us where we can go, not worth it, not doing it. So we need to have the desire. We need to have the discipline to do the good, the bad, and the ugly to move our business forward. We also need to have the commitment. And the commitment is not, I'm committed to my desire. It's the commitment to take action. So it doesn't matter how big or small, is take action, take one tiny little step of action. Atomic Habits, right? So a really good book where it's about 1%, right? Just do one thing, not 10, one thing every single day. And what I would say about us, I'm including myself in the us entrepreneurs, small business owners, and how do we move forward, is we need to be very clear in our pricing for the services that we provide. We need to market, and that's something that we want to serve. We want to be coaches. We want to have that beautiful specialized knowledge to just do our specialty. However, when we are business owners, we are our admin, we are our IT, we are everything. So a key component of getting people to know you is marketing and sales. Marketing and sales are not the same thing. Marketing and sales. And if you don't like marketing, don't like sales, then find someone in your inner circle that can help you with marketing, help you with sales, and maybe at the beginning, do it because they love you. At the beginning, do it with commission.
Yeah.
And then later, when you scale up, then pay. But start, and that's a lesson that I learned. Start building your business from a point of view of collaborating instead of you trying to be the expert in everything.
Yeah. And when you say sales, is that setting prices or doing the selling, like getting
Doing
out
the
there?
selling, because I can ask you, what do you charge for this? And at the beginning, if you're not used to selling a product, selling your services, you're going to hesitate. Yeah, I'll do for free, right? Until you get used to the pricing coming out loud. However, you are busy. Like I'm busy doing what I love, which is coaching. But I do have someone that helps me find clients. So I don't have to do the selling part. I don't have to worry about the marketing side. And I don't market a lot because I have enough coaching clients. However, if you need selling disc assessments, right? Then you want to do the disc assessment. You want to do the debrief. You want to do the lunch and learns. But doing the invoicing and selling and all that, can someone else do it?
Yeah.
For you?
Yeah.
And I know that at the beginning, maybe not, but I'm saying put it on the list of things that pieces of your business that need to be intact.
Yeah.
Something else that's super important. I'm part of the Brave Thinking Institute as well. I'm telling you, every year I sign up for something new because growth. But in the Brave Thinking Institute, they talk a lot about the importance of having that mission, vision statements and the business principles. Because if you have that, then any decision you make is, am I living up to my mission? Am I living up to my principles? Am I holding up my values? And if the answer is no, then the answer to that customer that you don't want, it's not your avatar, it's not your perfect client, then the no comes up much faster instead of hesitating.
Wow. Thank you for that.
Of course.
Terry, you've got any questions? I've got more.
No, I'm just taking it all in. The notes and everything.
All right. I'm going to do a couple leadership questions. You already mentioned the book that shaped you. Let's do a quick lightning round with a couple of leadership questions. A leadership lesson you learned the hard way.
Oh, wow. Interesting. I think that it happened throughout my career, but I'm sure our careers, right? We learn lessons the hard way. But I can share one that happened to me when I was selected to be the MatchCom command chief at headquarters. And that is that when I accepted the job, not a lot of things were disclosed to me. Not pretty things were disclosed to me. So I walked into the office with an assumption of ABC running okay, 1, 2, 3 being stable. And what I learned very quickly, what I learned is, and I don't want to say that I was set up for failure, but I felt like it at the time. Like, why didn't you tell me so I could at least be prepared? So it ended up being that I was in that job, that position of honor, really. But I ended up spending the first year cleaning up the mess. Second year, stabilizing what was to come next. And then the third year, preparing someone to take over, or at least to compete to take the position over. But that was, I still think that could have been managed much, much better when it comes to prepping me for that situation.
Yeah. Yeah. So my IMA, Chief Christina Bicknell, we were talking about you the other day, and I was sharing how excited I was that you were coming on the podcast, and we just were glowing about you and praising you. And she's like, I will never forget something. You know, when people say things, they just resonate and you never forget it and they just stick with you. And I remember it too. And she remembers when you said, and this has to do with identity, the transitioning and who we are outside the uniform, our own personal mission and vision and what we stand for, that you said the machine is designed to move on without you.
And sometimes,
Good.
leave an office, and sometimes we're expecting the ego side of us. We're expecting a phone call. We can't do it without you, Chief.
Yes.
But how amazing it is to set someone up for success, that they do a better job than you do. But the ego side goes, I want them to land on their face a little bit so they can miss me. I mean, it's that mental struggle that we go through. But you're right. And the more I deal with people that are transitioning or have tried to transition out of the military, I mean, I have met some Vietnam vets that are still over there. They still have not fully transitioned into the best version of themselves. But the thing is, understanding that the minute that date comes, you are out.
Yeah.
You're out.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so the people that you used to call before, they're busy because they're part of the machine. So
Mhm.
they don't have time anymore. The machine keeps going. And you got to be at the stop sign where they dropped you off and go, okay, what's next? Instead of trying to hold on to that boss that will peel your fingers off and drop you.
Yeah. That's funny that you say that, because one of the retirees, he's a key support liaison. He came in and he was basically telling us that he was like, not that none of it matters. Your service matters. What you did matters. Your legacy matters, which I have a question about that for you. But he was just saying, once you're out of here, you're out of here. This is it. I got to figure it out from here.
Yeah.
So
I mean, people say,
interesting.
thank you for your service. What does that mean? I mean, what do you know about what I did? So they're thinking the uniform, right?
Yeah.
Or thinking the perceived sacrifice, because again, it's their reality. However, all the ribbons, all the awards, all the EPRs, OPRs mean nothing.
Well, I'm glad you said it, because
I
that's
don't,
what he said. That's what he told us.
but it's not that I'm minimizing the chapter in my military life. I'm not minimizing it. What I'm saying is that, like it or not, statistics, maybe now is a little bit more statistics, is that anybody that serves in the military becomes, as a whole, when you're serving, 1% of the American population, if we're only looking at the United States. So when we leave, it's the 1% is leaving to join the 99%. The 99% could care less. And I think I say it in maybe on the side, maybe directly, but in that we need to take charge of our military transition. It's more of understanding that if you want to play the numbers, the 1%, it didn't matter what you did in the military, it doesn't matter. You are the one that needs to assimilate to the 99. So you need to communicate, you need to change your mindset, you need to change your expectations, you need to, that book has 5 chapters.
Yeah.
However, those 5 steps are necessary for you not to. I've been helping people, military folks, transition since I left the military. And I'm telling you, also statistic, us veterans, I mean, we are all business owners, but the people that look for a job, 5, 6 different jobs in a year, because they don't assimilate, they don't fit in. All these people don't know, they don't work hard, they don't work the extra, and they bring all the programming that the military gave us, and they can't cope with a civilian environment. And even companies that want to give us a job, right, they say we hire veterans, they have a hard time because they also have expectations of us, and here we are trying to make everybody around us that 1%.
Yeah.
And not realizing that we are the ones that need to assimilate to the 99.
Yeah. And I think waiting until you go through TAP to start it's almost too late, then just be ready for, you're still on the path, right? You're still on the path, but it may take a little bit longer to reach
Right. But
wherever you
Kelly,
need to go.
TAP gives you a sheet full of websites
Yeah,
where you can
exactly.
get help. But TAP does not take away the programming that the military started pushing down into how we behave, how we stand. Even now, if I'm standing, I put my arms back. If someone calls me, a little bit of it's like, what are you doing? I'm doing nothing, right? So we have been programmed, and the military gives us information, and that information means absolutely nothing if our mindset has not changed. Something that's different about you, maybe Tara and I, is that before we are leaving the uniform, we're looking at self-growth and self-development outside of the uniform. So when the uniform's not on anymore, the transition is easier. The transition is going to happen, but it's easier than someone that was in the military 20, 25, 30 years like this. Uniform, giving everything to the mission. And then the bus leaves you and you're like, what about what I did? What you did is, thank you so much. It's a beautiful chapter that you need to be proud of. Move on. And some people move on. That's why you go to some military associations and they still want to be called by their old rank. It's like, you're 80 years old and you still want me to call you Captain blah, blah, blah. Seriously.
Yeah, that's it's a bit much.
And what I'm saying is, I mean, we all started coaching for different reasons. And it started with, we wanted to improve ourselves. We looked in the mirror and said, I want to be a better person tomorrow. And how do I be a better person? And we didn't know we were going to start our own businesses at the time. We just kept going. And the challenges I went through starting 3 years ago is what really led me to be here. But it's also about thriving in life and diversifying yourself. That if I didn't go through that adversity and those challenges and sit with myself and understand myself and want to be better every single day, I would still be that version of Kelly. And later on, when I decide to take the uniform off, then I would say, okay, now who am I? Whereas I did that several years ago and
that
started
would have
on this.
been so horrible. And that is exactly what some folks go through. I remember I used to be part of the transition faculty group. And I remember doing, I think there was like maybe 20 special operators in the audience. And I remember this sergeant major, like 25 years special ops. And in tears, because the date is coming. And the only thing he knows is Army. He doesn't have a relationship with his son, only son, no relationship because the military was number one, Dad. So you are number two for me now. No spouse, no education. The only thing he knew how to do was to be a soldier. And the Army is saying, thank you so much. See you later. That's a fact. And he did not know what to do. A MatchCom command chief, one of my peers, after 30 years, I'm saying, congratulations, dude, you're retiring. And he's like, Ericka, I don't know what I'm going to do. This is before I was helping people in transition. I go, what do you mean you know what I'm going to do? And he goes, when I left to go to the military, my parents had to sign because I was only 17. And what I was doing is putting cans on shelves in a grocery store. This guy, this chief, this MatchCom chief had 3 masters. He was incredible leader. And he was still paralyzed by fear because the only thing he knew about civilian life was what he left at 17.
Yeah. Wow.
I want to thank both of you ladies for highlighting my 2 books and for having me here. Thank you.
Are you leaving? Is that your
No.
segue to? Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And maybe 20 years ago, that was it, that we were, the narrow that tunnel vision, and we know military, and that is our life. And it's an honor to serve the nation. It's an honor every single day to wear this uniform. And we also prepare ourselves for the day that we take off the uniform, or you never know what can happen medically. You don't
Ab-
know.
Absolutely. How many people think they're going to do 20, 25 years? They love it. This is their career. There's an accident. Something happens and the military goes, because you're not deployable anymore. Thank you so much for your service. Goodbye. And
You're
and
100%. See you later.
that identity crisis hits you. If we retire, we are the only ones to blame for not prepping.
Right.
But when something happens and we need to separate, we need to process that. We need to definitely process that.
Yeah. Do you always want to be in control? And we talk, mindset. It's, I think the first part of the book is you got to have the right mindset, or change your mindset, or prepare your mindset for that transition and change. But it's different when we control our destiny, when we control what's ahead.
Yes,
Or
but however, Kelly, when we have been programmed that we need to ask permission, we need to check our reg, we need to, this is not how we do things.
yeah.
And we don't think about us. We don't think about us as individuals. We have been programmed that the sacrifice is that you're going to take care of everybody else, the mission first, someone else first. And now you are out, and now you're like, I sacrifice everything for everybody else. And now I don't even know who I am.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to the identity portion, because I know we're talking military, but even in our civilian capacity, there's so many people out there that can't identify themselves outside of being a mom, or outside of what they do for a living. They don't know who they are. And I think I try very hard, and I try to get airmen to identify who they actually are, do the work, and find out what your passion is. Because when I was going through the first sergeant academy, we did have I think she was a senior that came in, and she asked the question. She said, "Who are you?" And you weren't allowed to say Master Sergeant such and such. You weren't allowed to say such and such as mom, and you were not allowed to identify as whatever your career is outside of the military if you're in the reserves. And
Makes you think.
So many people could not identify that.
That's why when we say, what do you want to do? We freeze. What is that you want to do? So we want the environment to tell us. And it starts with school, in which if we are not taught how to think, we are taught
To think,
what to say, what to dress, but we are not to think of how do you think? Who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you outside of those titles? And so going back to earlier when Kelly said, I needed to sit with Kelly and appreciate Kelly, love Kelly, and like Kelly. Because sometimes we love, but we don't like. And feel joy about who we are and what is our purpose in life, right? Because I tell people, we can have a job, and a job is going to give us a paycheck. We can have a career, and a career is going to give us a retirement. But not until we find what our purpose is, are we not going to then find joy for our existence.
Yeah, absolutely.
We talk about the Ikigai and all that in a few other episodes.
Purpose. Yeah. So I am going goo goo gaga over your website, Ericka, again, because I love it. I'm like, oh my God. So professional growth training, executive coaching, military transition mentoring, emotional intelligence disc workshops. Of all of the coaching and leadership workshops, everything you do, what are some of the aha moments that your clients are like, oh my God, that was a game changer for me? Or what is something that is in high demand right now? What are you feeling people really are needing and wanting in these portfolios?
Yeah. So right now in the industry of self-development and growth, emotional intelligence is rating number one. Coaching is rating high in the United States, but not globally.
Yeah.
And still, even in the United States, is most people don't know what a real coach is. They think that a coach is going to tell people what to do. And I can consult if you want me to consult. I love telling people what to do, or a mentor. But right now in the industry that we are in, emotional intelligence is rating number one. As a matter of fact, I write a weekly blog, and the blogs that I write about emotional intelligence are the ones that hit number one.
Yeah. Wow. And is it because people are wanting to talk about emotions now versus,
Yeah.
10, 20 years ago, we didn't talk about feelings.
Right. So Q was the guiding force for the
Mhm.
workforce.
Mhm.
So IQ testing was, and it's interesting if you read the history of IQ and if you read the history of emotional intelligence, the research on emotional intelligence happened almost at the same time that IQ was being tested. However, IQ got more traction because, oh my gosh, but it's a historical fact. IQ didn't start in the business industry or the school industry, the educational. Well, it started in the educational system because they started doing IQ tests on children. And if their IQ was low, they would be sent home to go to the farm and work because they were not smart enough to learn. So that's how IQ started. And
Yeah.
then industry, the business world started picking it up as a selecting pool for employees. But it started with saying you're not smart enough to go to school. And
Wow.
at that time that IQ is taking traction, then emotional intelligence took a back burner spot. And now they're realizing that IQ peaks at 17, 18, 19, and then it stays at that level, and then it starts taping off. However, emotional intelligence keeps going till we are about 40, 50, and then it levels, and then it starts tapering off. And
Wow.
emotional intelligence is the soft skills that business and industry and us military need in order for us to recruit and retain.
Especially
Yeah.
now with this generation that we're working with. That's a huge one. Doing corporate training outside here, that's a huge one, is emotional intelligence, because I don't want to work for someone who's just going to be mean to me all day. The generations that are making up the majority of our workforce, they don't want to be told what to do. They don't want you to knife hand them or finger point. They want you to use emotional intelligence. They want to be in a comfortable environment to work, or they quit, or they soft quit, or they quiet quit, whatever it's called, where you're looking for a job while you're at your job.
Yeah,
Oh,
people want to
no, of
figure
course.
things out on their own. They want,
Critical
we
thinking,
talk
yeah.
about motivation and it's autonomy, mastery, purpose. They want autonomy to figure out, to solve problems, to work on their own, to think through it on
This
their own.
generation does. This
Yes.
generation
Yes.
does. My
Yes.
generation wanted structure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And emotions weren't a thing back then.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, we talked about it last week, Forbes and Harvard Business Review and everything. I mean, we started learning about emotional intelligence maybe 10 years ago, and now it's still these articles. Number one in leadership is emotional intelligence. All right. Ericka, thank you so much for spending time with us. I mean, we could sit here all night. Do you have time? No.
You got to do it again.
And listen to your mentorship and your wisdom. I mean, this has been amazing. Yes, we will do it again. I mean, as long as you can come back, we will have you back. We talked about time last week, and time is so precious. And one of the greatest gifts you can give people is time. So thank you for investing time in us and our listeners today and sharing your story, your journey, your wisdom, your perspectives, your philosophies, and most of all, your heart. You continue to make such a meaningful impact in and out of uniform, and you've set an example, and you continue to set a great example for us. So thank you so much. It's been an honor to host you.
I just want to say thank you to both of you. I am really honored to have this conversation, and for me to, again, have this comfort level of being in a room with the two of you where it's relatable, right? I'm not trying to convince the two of you of what I'm saying. It's this beautiful flow that we had in this conversation that I think is unique for this room. And for that, I do appreciate you.
Thank you. It's an honor, and we'll see you soon. To everyone listening, if anything from this conversation resonated with you, we invite you to sit with it. Leadership isn't about the titles we hold, but the choices we make, the persistence we carry, and the way we show up for others and ourselves. Thank you for spending time with us. Wherever you are in your journey, we're grateful you're walking it with us here on Trail Talks. See you next time. If today's conversation resonated with you, you don't have to walk your journey alone. I offer emotional intelligence assessments with personalized coaching, one-on-one mindset coaching, and leadership development for teams and organizations. You can explore all of that at kellymichellecoaching.com, linked in the show notes. And I'll leave you with this. Awareness is powerful, but support is transformational.